Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. All right, guys, for the content tonight, we are going to talk about Trump's new endorsement for Senate candidate J.D. Vance in Ohio. Now, this is a bit of a wild card play, very similar to Pennsylvania like he did with Dr. Oz, okay? He didn't go with the front runner. He went with the second or third place candidate, hoping to pull them up and into the get who he wants in the primary as the main candidate representative against the Democrat in the next election. Now, this is really fascinating. I'll walk you through a few things because there's really two players in Ohio here. There's now JD Vance and there's a guy named Mandel. Okay, both situations, we're going to analyze both outcomes, which will set us up for the Second Amendment wins we need. Now, as always, my disclaimer, I endorse the Second Amendment. I do not endorse any of these candidates. That's not what I'm here for. I am here to bring you the information the best I can to help you make an informed decision, and that is what we're about to do. Quick reminder, we will not be doing any videos tomorrow on Easter Sunday. I'm going to go spend some time with the Jesus, and I'll see you guys on Monday. But before we get into that, let's dive this in. Check this out. Trump endorses J.D. Vance in Ohio's crowded GOP primary for Senate. Okay, so now we got some action, not only, like I said, in Pennsylvania, but also Ohio. Former President Donald Trump on Friday endorsed venture capitalist and author J.D. Vance in the Republican primary for a Senate seat in Ohio, a move likely to give the first-time candidate a boost in the crowded field. Now, this is really interesting because this guy has come out flat out and said, we don't even need the ATF. Okay, this is interesting. I'm going to be honest. It's intriguing. Check this out. Here's some other words, and then we'll get into the actual stances. Quote, like some others, J.D. Vance may have said some not so great things about me in the past, but he gets it now, and I have seen that in spades, Trump said in a statement. Quote, he is our best chance for victory in what could be a very tough race. And that's kind of what he's talking about across the board. He says very similar things in Pennsylvania. This is who I think will win the best. Now, he's really leaned into winning over principles or the actual focal point around the issues. He's really only focusing on who can win. So that's an interesting piece. That's a Trump thing. That's not for me. I'm here for the Second Amendment. All right. In a tweet, Vance happily accepted the endorsement, saying he was honored to have it and voicing support if Trump makes another White House bid. Quote, he was an incredible fighter for hardworking Americans in the White House, Vance said. Quote, he will be again, and I'll fight for the America First agenda in the Senate. So he's going from the conservative America First agenda stance. Okay, cool. That's great. But we're going to need someone who can actually get in Ohio because we need to hold on to that seat. Now, this is interesting because on the two front runners now, you've got J.D. Vance, who's Trump endorsed, and then you've got a guy named Mandel. Now, this is really interesting because in both scenarios, we win. Or at least we win according to their written stances on their websites. Check this out. This is from J.D. Vance's. Protect Second Amendment rights. Joe Biden and anti-democracy multinational companies are trying to find new ways to take guns away from law-abiding citizens. They're making it harder to buy firearms and ammunition and imposing new unconstitutional regulations on American citizens, i.e. ghost gun orders. I will fight the gun grabbers. I like that he said gun grabbers because that's a very common phrase for people involved. Whether they're federal bureaucrats enacting regulations or multinational companies punishing people for exercising their rights. Now that's very, very true to tone as well. When a payments processor attempts to restrict Americans from buying firearms or ammunition, I'll push back with federal legislation. So he's hitting all the buttons, okay? Because I've actually personally experienced being canceled on a lot of platforms around payment, particularly because of my beliefs. Anyway, this is the part that's interesting about J.D. Vance. Check this out. This is a tweet he put out a few days ago. All the more reason to get rid of the ATF. This guy was not a friend of the Constitution in Ohio. He's talking about Steve Dettelbeck going for the director of the ATF. He wrote this on April 11th, 2022, prior to Trump's endorsement. So this is still standing. If this guy is a vote for abolishing the ATF, that's interesting, especially if he's going to preserve firearm rights across the board. Now look at his opponent, the other guy. His name's Mandel. He's a little more centrist, a little more mainstream Republican. Check this out. And that's the way he's framing it. That's not my stance, by the way. I will oppose any effort to infringe upon this right, Josh Mandel. Now, that is a very broad statement. Any infringement on this right, I will stand against. Okay, so again, these are politicians. I understand they are. I'm not going to say what they're saying is absolutely going to happen. However, if you've got one candidate who's Trump endorsed and backed and said, not only are we going to endorse the Second Amendment and protect the Second Amendment from all these things like payment cancellations, multinational corporations, federal overreach, and then you've also got a candidate who said we will not have any infringements across the board. It sounds like We've got our ducks lined up in a row. Heads we win, tails they lose. That's just my thought. Let me know what you guys think in the comments field below. And again, a reminder, I will not have a video tomorrow in the morning or in the evening, but I will see you on Monday. Thank you so much for watching. Have a happy Easter, and I will see you then.